hang out. Welcome back. I'm Jeff Allman. If you're new to my YouTube channel, I'm a yoga teacher, meditation guide, mindfulness coach, and I'm just starting to create this YouTube space. If you don't already, I'm on Instagram, hello, I am Jeff, and I also teach online public classes as well as private classes virtually. And of course, during the pandemic, I've stopped teaching in studios so far. So I thought, why not create some little how-to videos? I did this shirtless because even if you have extra pounds, you're older, you're hairy, you're like, I'm not a yogi. We're all yogis. You ever take a deep breath just to pause the day? And then sigh it all out? That's yoga. That's mindfulness. I mean, I'm oversimplifying it, but sure, that's fine, and it's a great first step. Today, I'm going to talk about Malasana. I'm going to talk about potter's pose or a yogi squat. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it and talk about it and why, if you do nothing else in yoga, maybe you've never done yoga before, any human can do this. But in particular, if, anyways, let me get there and I'll talk to you a little bit about it more. So, all this squat is I'm gonna, and I have a couple blocks here that I'm gonna include as an option for you if you have yoga blocks or books or whatever. You're gonna take your feet and you're gonna turn your toes out, okay? So your toes are turned out, just like that, and your knees are lining up with the angle of your toes. And then you're dropping into a squat. So you can see that. So that's Malasana, just like this. Now you'll notice, and this may be very hard for you, that I'm flat on my feet. And I'm taking my elbows inside my thighs, and I'm pushing my thighs out. My back is straight, my heart is open, my smile is real. Oh, and it's a huge release right in here. Now, if this is really hard for you, you may be up on your toes because you don't have the flexibility to come all the way down to your toes. You might also be sitting on a couple of blocks. Maybe on that height it's not enough. Maybe you got to put the block up on its taller height for you. Because the whole point here is not to be in pain. Ooh, those are some narrow blocks as I'm falling off of it in my video, and that's okay. You know, because if you fall in yoga, you get back up. It can't expect you to be able to do everything I'm doing, and me falling actually in this video is good because it shows you, hey, we're all human and we're all dealing with the same balance issues, or maybe not exactly the same because we're all different. We live different asymmetrical lives and it's brought us to different points. But why a potter's pose is nice, and they call it a potter's pose because imagine I'm sitting on the pottery wheel making a vase or around a pit fire cooking. And this is what happens in a lot of countries around the world, not as much here in the United States or in the Western world. But what we do know is if you're sitting like this or standing like this, opening your groin up, that it's increasing blood flow to your region where literally your genitals are. But also think beyond that, like your prostate, right? For me, my brother has had prostate cancer, my father, all of my uncles. So it runs in the family. Now I've had my prostate checked and I'm fine. And I'm 42, so that's exciting that I'm fine. But I've also been doing yoga in some capacity for over 20 years. And I'm a yoga teacher. So I go into Malasana a lot. And what we know is that where folks sit or stand in this potter's pose, that they have a lower occurrence of reproductive issues, including prostate cancer. So I'm not saying that this is going to be the cure-all, but it certainly wouldn't hurt to add a little flexibility, a little mobility, a little strength. So I'm going to take those out again, those blocks, and show you again as I'm in this posture, just like that, opening just like that. Maybe I'm bringing my fists together. Maybe I'm adding a little bit of a side stretch. Just like that. Maybe I'm turning this into a crow. And there's many different ways to do a crow, but one of them is kind of in this Malasana, open with your knees on the outside. And you just kind of come forward. and take your feet off the ground. I can show you that from the side as well, so you can see what that looks like. So you can see I'm just like this. My hands are nice and flat, my fingers spread wide, my palms totally flat on the floor, and just like that. And just hang out, and just hang out. There's a couple different ways to do crow poses, which I was just showing you. You can also do your elbows on the back of your knees as well. Or excuse me, your knees on the back of your triceps. So either way, both correct. Either one is right. Malasana, potter's pose. Yogi squat. It's really good, especially for this region. More blood flow, more oxygen, more flexibility, more mobility, more fluidity. Try it out. Stay curious. Be wonderful.